Shalom. This is part 2 of the light of the lamp. On the first part, we went over a hefty amount of information just relating to the light of the lamp and how it led up to really understanding what that light of the lamp is, even though we do know what it is, the Mashiach. But we just kind of broke it open a lot more than how you would regularly, may have read it. Then we basically ended on 2nd Baruch, chapter 18. And just to reiterate, just to reread it, it says, "And I answered and said, He that lighteth has taken from the light, and there are but few that have imitated him. But those many whom he has lighted have taken from the darkness of Adam, and have not rejoiced in the light of the lamp." All right. So it's ultimately, we didn't go over the rejoicing portion of it, which is obviously for the next, for this series, for this second part. But I wanted to also go over some things with Emmanuel. I didn't get to finish sharing enough of the details about the name of Emmanuel. And understanding that we knew this portion. Let's see here. Right? So we understood that it said the Most High is with us, or the Messiah is with us. And it wasn't in a sense of just saying, okay, he's here, but it's literally like coexisting. He's walking with us. He's walking alongside of us as we're walking alongside of him, especially if we know that he is the light, that we're walking alongside of him. And ultimately, Emmanuel has that deeper feel of relationship, right? It has a deeper feel of, literally the Messiah, him being the direct image of the Father, is completely there, walking in the garden, that we knew also resembles and represents wisdom and is wisdom, because we know that is in him along with righteousness, right? So it's interesting. Adam and Eve were more willing to eat of the tree of the wisdom. They were more willing. They were willing to eat the tree of wisdom, the fruit of the tree of wisdom, that the Most High said not to eat. And if they did so, they would die, rather than eat of the actual light, eat of the actual word that was walking in the midst of them, who created them. This shows you, just how the enemy takes you away from the perspective, takes you away from the mindset on where you should be at, on the narrow path towards literally the Messiah. That's essentially what the adversary did, was shift their mindset. You see how Eve thought about what she was doing, the things that the serpent, the Masema, that Satan was saying through the serpent, that we read about already. And they essentially didn't really understand who the Messiah was in Emmanuel, as Emmanuel. Let's see here. So this one was my banner part. Let's see here. Okay, so it says, back in the Garden of Eden, the Most High and Adam walked together in the cool of the day. So the close relationship the Most High had once with humanity is something his heart longs for and grieved for when it was lost. The Most High's love for us and desire to be with us is seen in action, and he creates an environment in which sin can be dealt with and fellowship restored. Leviticus 26:11-12 says, I will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul will not abhor you. I will walk among you, and I will be your Elohim, and you will be my people. It's beautiful. All right. And what else do we have here? Nope, that is next. So it says here, this happens again in Isaiah, draw near to me, hear this. Since the beginning, I have not spoken in secret. From the time it existed, I was there. So now the Most High has sent me in his spirit. So obviously we know that's the Messiah. This plan that the Most High would send the image. So I know the wording is a little off, but the image of himself to live among us has been in place since the dawn of time. The Eternal One, or the Chosen One, was there since the beginning and has been sent by the Most High, by his Father. And it says this time it was personal, no longer mere meaningful symbols and prophetic accoutrements in a purpose-built temple, that the Most High himself was coming for a visit, and he was sent by the Most High. So obviously we know that's the Son, Emmanuel. Okay. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that information. So let's see. Okay. So now we're going to talk about actually what it means to rejoice in the light of the Lamb. Rejoice in the light of the Lamb. Okay. So give me 1 second. All right, so rejoice. So we're going to look up rejoice, what rejoice means, from a Hebraic understanding. So this one is Strong's Hebrew 1523. And one of the words is gil. It's a verb. It means to rejoice. And it's Gil. So this is the primary root, and it just means to exult or cry or be glad. What else? And also it means to properly to spin around, which is very interesting. We're going to actually look into why it's saying to spin around. Okay. So, interestingly enough, so Psalm 2:11. Let's see what it has to say about Psalm 2:11. Okay. So, which rejoice? So it's going from this is the first portion of this article I found, but it says there's many different types of joy, just as a sample of Hebrew joy. So you have all these different words here. That's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right? 11. So what we just read it from the Hebraic understanding in Strong's, which was Strong's 1523, that was gil that we see down at the bottom, which means spinning around in a circle. So if you kind of imagine yourself spinning around in a circle with joy, that's what gil means. But as you see, there's different types of rejoice, different portions of the word rejoice, right? So we're going to look at Psalm 2:11. So it says, which rejoice does David use in Psalm 2:11? It is gil. David seems to love spinning around in a circle. Actually, the word gil is also used for generations. You know, generations have the idea of moving around in a circle. Young becomes old and the old dies off. The new young take over and they become old and the cycle continues. Perhaps David is saying we should approach old age with trembling, maybe not. The word trembling is Baer Ada. When you trace this word to its Semitic origin, you find it is the word Ra. In Hebrew, you have about 10 different words that have a Semitic root of Ra, which is your basic word for evil. Actually, that is not quite right. Evil to us is always something bad. Ra does not necessarily have to be bad. The Semitic concept of Ra is an outside influence causing us to react a certain way in which he has little or no control over our actions. Interesting. So we know that Gil is used for Psalm 211. So I'm going to read Psalm 211 real quick. If my computer will let me. Sheesh. Yeah, my computer's acting a little slow. Okay, so it says, Psalm 211 says, serve the Most High, or serve Messiah, with reverent fear and rejoice with trembling. Serve the Most High with fear and celebrate his rule with trembling. Or another one that says, serve the Most High with fear and rejoice, with trembling. All right, so it's saying that this word rejoice in this specific scripture, rejoice with trembling, is the root word gil, which means to move around in a circle or, walk in a circle, run around in a circle with joy. Okay. So let's see what else it has to say about Psalm 211. All right, so it says this particular Ra word is the word Ra'ad. It does mean tremble, but this trembling is a result of being in awe. That could be either good or bad. We could stand in awe at the strength and power of an invading army. The word found here in Psalm 211 is in a feminine form, thus Ra'dah would have the idea of trembling before something beautiful. So we read Psalm 211 again, serve the Most High with fear and rejoice with trembling because we're in awe before something beautiful. It says the sages suggest that this is a trembling when in the presence of something with awesome beauty. It is so beautiful you actually begin to quake. So we remember in the first study of part 1 of this one, we did see that Enoch, when he was in the presence of the light of the lamp, who is the Messiah, the Mashiach, the Son of the Most High, he was finally like in his presence. His flesh was dissolved. He was trembling. Literally, he was in so much awe. He literally was, when the Son told him to come and approach him, Enoch was still looking down. He was just looking down on the ground, and he was just in an awe that just, it can't even truly just be fully explained, because he's looking at something truly magnificent beyond measure, beyond what your flesh can even conceive. So that's why his flesh burned, or his flesh not just burned, but it just dissolved, because his spirit was already connected to the Son. He was already in the Son. His portion was already the Son, in the Son, and in heaven already. But it was just the fact that, his flesh could not stand before the Son. So literally in awe. So let's go back to here. It says the best picture I can think of for this expression, rejoice with trembling, is the opening scene of A Sound of Music, where see Julia Andrews singing the opening score while spinning around on the top of the Austrian mountains. I believe this is the same picture of David, who would spin around Gil in the midst of the beauty of God's creation when he was a shepherd and would be off alone with his sheep. he would be so taken up with the beauty of the Most High's creation that he would just spin around Gil in the midst of beauty Ra'dah, praising the Most High. So going back to what we read at the end of the first portion, right? In 2nd Baruch, chapter 18. So it's saying that Moses and people that were in the path of righteousness, that were following the light of the lamp, right? It says that in chapter 18 of 2nd Baruch that he that lighteth was taken from the light. But there are few who actually imitated those same people who was taken from the light, who actually was trying to give those people who are in the generation of righteousness that same light. But it's only a few who have actually taken it, right? Who have imitated it. It says, but those many whom he has lighted have taken from the darkness of Adam. So the darkness of Adam consists because they ate of the tree of wisdom, or aka the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So because they ate of the wisdom, they knew, yes, I know knowledge, I have knowledge of good and evil, but they didn't have the intimate understanding on how to actually deal with good and evil and what that actually meant. They had wisdom, but it wasn't wisdom from the Most High. It wasn't like the actual Messiah himself, who was walking in the same garden that they were in. Because they also, it says in here, 2nd Baruch, chapter 18, that they have not rejoiced in the light of the lamp. So those who aren't imitating the true light of the lamp and the paths of righteousness that are laid out to us in the ways that these other people have walked, that are deemed as righteous, haven't rejoiced in the light of the lamp. There was no rejoicing from Adam and Eve when they ate of the tree of wisdom. If you thought, if it would make sense if they would have ate from the tree of wisdom in the garden of righteousness, it would kind of make logical sense for them to rejoice, but instead they didn't. They covered up their shame, covered up their areas, their genitals, and they were just knowing that they were naked. And now, so they went directly to their normal nature, which the Most High knows the nature of who he created, though he created us in his image. But not a lot of people truly understand how to truly reflect on that image and truly reflect that image in them, which we need to have the light of the lamp in order to do so. But it says rejoice in the light of the lamp, right? So you see here, you're rejoicing in the light of the lamp, Psalm 211, with fear, with reverential fear, with fear, and trembling, as you're in joy and you're spinning around in a circle, just in total awe of his power and his beauty and just the path of righteousness that he's laid out for us. That's what that means, right? So let's see a little bit more. So going back, to our graphic here. So now when we talk about fear, okay? So we understand that the Psalm 211 is saying that we need to be like running around and just in awe of the beauty and just the amazing everything, right? That we're seeing, that we're understanding, and joy and rejoicing in the light of the lamp, right? With trembling, with fear, right? So let's get into a little bit more with fear. So we're going to go to Philippians chapter 2, 12 through 13. And oddly enough, when you go to the NIV version, the subtitle is Imitating Christ's Humility. So, verse 12, it says, "Therefore, my dear friends, as you have always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much more in my absence, continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Work out your salvation with fear and trembling, for it is the Most High, or the Messiah, who works in you, the light of the lamp that works in you, to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. In order to fulfill his good purpose. It's the light of the lamp in you that's working out the salvation with fear and trembling as you rejoice in the light of the lamp. Therefore, you are imitating those who have given from the lamp, who have given light from the lamp. Let's go to Sirach 25. (10 through 12). So it says, how great is the one who finds wisdom, but none is greater than the one who fears the Messiah, or fears the Most High. So how great is one who finds wisdom, right? So just as the serpent told Adam and Eve, oh, you will be as gods, you will know good and evil, right? So they, essentially becoming great, quote unquote. But there's no one who's greater than the one who fears the Most High. So if they truly feared the Most High, reverential fear, they would have feared breaking his commands. Which the command was, don't eat of that fruit of the wisdom, of the fruit of the tree of wisdom. They would have been greater being obedient than sitting there trying to please themselves. Verse 11, it says, fear the Most High, the fear of the Most High, the fear of the Mashiach surpasses all else. To whom can we compare the one who has it? It's the one walking in the light. It's weird. So they have on this site, they skipped verse 12, which is weird. That's weird. I don't know why they did that on this Catholic site. It's kind of interesting. But verse 12, it says, to fear of the Most High, the fear of the Messiah is the beginning of his love. It's the beginning of his love. And faith is the beginning of cleaving on to him. The beginning of his love. Love is a hava, means giving. It's not always encompassed all the time in receiving. Though if we love him, we would do his commands, right? So therefore we're already going to be giving love to the Most High. In the way the Most High and the Mashiach work, they give to us mercy, right? Grace and these blessings that come from us being in him, in them, through this Holy Spirit, through the Ruach. So it says the fear of the Most High is the beginning of his love. And faith is the beginning of cleaving onto him. So the same people who were giving light from the light of the lamp, essentially, have the same exact type of fear that we just read in Sirach chapter 25. And this is also obviously coming from Psalm 211, where it says, serve the Most High, or serve the Mashiach, with fear and rejoice with trembling. Rejoice with trembling. So run around in a circle, or just you're just looking up in awe and in the beauty of the Messiah. Enjoy with fear and trembling as you work out your salvation, trying to be as perfect as you can. And having this fear, this reverential fear, that is the beginning of his love. that is greater than all, but it's still connected to wisdom, right? It's connected to righteousness. Okay, so now we're going to go to Sirach chapter 32. So remember this Gil. So I'm going to go back real quick. There's different types of rejoicing or joy. There's like 10, 11 different types. You have to look them all up. But the one we're talking about in Psalms 211 is the joy expressed spinning around in a circle, in which Psalm 211 says that we do that with fear. With fear and awe and rejoicing at the same time. All right. So we're going to go to 32. Sirach 32. It says, verse 14, it says, the one who seeks the Most High or the Messiah or even seek wisdom will accept his discipline. And those who rise early to seek him will find favor. So essentially the same thing as the light of the lamp. The one who seeks the light of the lamp will accept the discipline that comes from it. Those who rise early to seek the light of the lamp will find favor. The one who seeks the law will be filled with it, but the hypocrite will stumble at it. So you actually have to do something. You have to be disciplined in loving his word, as it says, and we've read so many times in Wisdom chapter 6, where it says discipline comes from the love that you have to care about his instructions, which gets you closer to immortality, that's the goal, right? That's the goal, is to become one with the Mashiach, actually wear him and have him on fully. Therefore, we are walking and rejoicing in the light of the lamp and reflecting that light that he's put into us, right? Matthew 5:16, where let your light shine before men so that they see your good works and they glorify the Most High in heaven. That light, right, is reflected from the light of the lamp. Okay, but we have to actually love his word, love his law, love what he's telling us, how we can actually truly follow his commandments. Because it's not just, let me just follow and be obedient. Have everything to do with the obedience that comes with the character, that comes with the power, that comes with the counsel, that comes with the wisdom, the righteousness. Verse 16, those who fear the Most High will form true judgments, and they will kindle righteousness. They will kindle righteous deeds like a light. They will kindle righteous deeds like a light. Sinners will shun reproof and find a decision according to their liking. See? So those who are opposite of that, we try to find what we need to find and make our decisions based off of how the Most High would want us to do so. Through our wisdom, through the discernment that he's given us, right? Through the Spirit, ultimately. That we're feeding the word and really seeking after what he wants for our life. And we actually want it in turn. We actually want to speak like him. We actually want to talk like him. We actually want to walk like him. All our decisions, all of our situations, we want to be in him. We want him to be in us. We want that light to truly shine, because that's what he's looking at. He's looking at our heart. He's looking at all our conduct. He's literally looking to see if we have his light. That's who he wants. Those who are worshiping spirit and truth, that's what he wants. The ones that actually have light. Not a little, because the way we read it in 2nd Baruch, it says that the ones that he's lighted, that he's given some light to, he's shining on, are still taken from the darkness of Adam, according to Baruch in chapter 18. He don't want no darkness in us at all. He wants us to rejoice in the light of the lamp. So therefore, as it says, the commandments are not too hard for us. If we're truly walking in the light of the lamp, then we're not sinning. That means we will walk perfect, like it says Noah walked perfect. Because he was full of righteousness. Same thing with Enoch. He was full of righteousness. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, we have to be full of this stuff in order for us to actually walk and rejoice in the light of the lamp. Sirach chapter 34. Verse 13. It says, I have often been in danger of death, but have escaped because of these experiences. It says, the spirit of those who fear the Most High will live, for their hope is in him who saves them. The spirit of the one who fears the Mashiach will live, for their hope is in him who saves them. Those who fear the Messiah and the Father will not be timid or play the coward, for he is their hope. There's your power, right? That's the strength. He is your hope. He's your everything. Because all flows through him. You can't do anything outside of him if you're truly walking in the Spirit. Truly walking unto the Spirit, unto the Father, and you're saying that you're trying to walk in the light of the lamp. And you have light in you. You have true fear that doesn't make you weak, because you're stronger in him. You found your strength in him now. Verse 17, it says, happy are the souls that fear the Most High. To whom do they look, and who is their support? For the eyes of the Messiah are on those who love him, a mighty shield and strong support, a shelter from scorching heat and a shade from noonday sun, a guard against stumbling and a help against falling. And he lifts up the soul and makes the eyes sparkle, and he gives health and life and blessing. Like, come on, y'all. Come on. So we talked about the Yeshaya Nisi, or however you want to put it, Jehovah Nisi, or, Yahuwah Nisi, however you want to construct that. But essentially, it just really means he's our banner. He goes ahead of us to fight for us, right? He's literally our banner. He's the one covering us. He's our strength. He's our champion. So we go to Sirach chapter 1. It says, many great teachings have been given to us through the law and the prophets and the others that followed them. And for these we should praise Israel for instruction and wisdom. Now those who read them must not only themselves understand them, but must also, as lovers of learning, be able through both speaking and writing to help the outsiders. So my grandfather, what she's talking about, Jesus, who had devoted himself especially to the reading of the law and the prophets, etc., etc. So, I'm sorry, that was a prologue, yo. So it says, all wisdom is from the Most High, and with him it remains forever. Then he goes to verse 6 and says that the root of wisdom, to whom has it been revealed, her subtleties, who knows them? There is but one who is wise, greatly to be feared, seated upon his throne, the Father and the Son. For it is he whom technically the Father creates everything. It is he who created her. He saw her and took her measure, and he poured out her upon all his works. Upon all the living according to his gift, he lavished her upon those who love him. So those who love him will have wisdom in them and on them lavishly. Verse 11, the fear of the Messiah is glory and exultation and gladness, a crown of rejoicing. It's a crown of rejoicing. So going back to Baruch, where he says that many have taken from the darkness of Adam and have not rejoiced in the light of the lamp. Guess what? Adam and Eve did not have fear to truly not transgress the commandments. If they did, they wouldn't have done it. So when you go back to 2 Baruch chapter 15, it does say, for this world to us is a strife and a labor, much trouble, and that accordingly which is to come, a crown with great glory, a crown with great glory. So in verse 11 of Sirach chapter 1, it says, the fear of the Most High is glory and exultation. That's your crown. And gladness and a crown of rejoicing, spinning around in a circle, being in awe of the Most High, in fear and trembling. You guys see how the connections? Verse 12, the fear of the Most High delights the heart and gives gladness and joy and long life. Those who fear the Most High will have a happy end. On the day of their death, they will be blessed. To fear the Most High is the beginning of wisdom, and she is created with the faithful in the womb. So to fear the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. And we just read here, Sirach chapter 25, I believe. See here. Nope. Where did it say? Beginning of, what was it, 32? And I've read these scriptures before too, y'all, in other studies. So, we always read again. It just starts making a lot more sense, right? It just starts blowing up even more. So, verse 14, it says, let's see here. Trying to find it. Where does it say 25? Okay. It's all good. Yeah, it's fine. All right. So, going back, so the fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom, and she is created with the faithful in the womb. It says she made among humans an eternal foundation, and among their descendants she will abide faithfully. The fear of the Most High is fullness of wisdom, and she inaugurates mortals with her fruits. She fills their whole house with desirable goods, and their storehouses with her produce. The fear of the Most High is the crown of wisdom. So now we already saw that there's a crown, obviously, for the fear that we have, working on our salvation with fear and trembling, that we are rejoicing in the light of the lamp. And then on top of that crown is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish. And it says she rained down knowledge and discerning comprehension. And it says, verse 20, it says, the fear of the Most High is the root of wisdom, and her branches are long life. So literally, you start seeing all types of stuff just start coming together, because we have to have these things in order to rejoice in the light of the lamp. You can't rejoice in the light of the lamp if you have no fear. That's why Adam and Eve couldn't rejoice. Though they were eating of wisdom, there was no rejoicing. Though they had a little bit of light, there was no rejoicing. Because they still weren't imitating, which was imitating the path of righteousness. They didn't understand that what righteousness was, what truly righteousness stood for, and what truly wisdom stood for, and how to actually wear it and be in it, not just being obedient to following commands. They were obedient for 7 years, but it wasn't enough. All right, so now we just hit that. So now we're going to go and finish talking about the light. So we have here Zephaniah 3:17. Still talking about rejoicing in the light of the lamp. It says, the Most High, or Mashiach, is in your midst, a warrior who gives victory. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will renew you in his love. He will exalt you over you with loud singing. Beautiful. So I think I have research on Zephaniah, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, my eyes. Can't see if this, if I don't have it, it's fine. Oh, there it is. Nope. Okay. So it says, Zephaniah goes on to say that the Most High rejoices over us. The word is sus. Can you imagine what this means? The creator and the ruler of the universe, the one who is all-powerful, perfect, and completely set apart and holy. That same Mashiach, or same Father, rejoices over us. Guys, remember what we just read and we just understood about rejoicing. He's doing that same, they are doing that same thing over us when we truly walk in the path of righteousness and actually are able to be saved. Our Creator is rejoicing over us. Like, that's, come on. It says, we self-righteous, mistake-laden, full of messes and sins are the ones that the Most High rejoices over with joy. The word used for rejoices is from a root meaning to circle around, like we just read, and is applied in the Old Testament to hosts of circumstances that convey joyous human occasions, such as the wedding, the satisfaction of a proud father, deliverance from enemies, or a beautiful bride. Think of these circumstances and the warm smell of feelings that accompany such joy. Now realize that the Most High feels the same way about you. You are his beautiful bride, his fabulous wedding feast, his wonderful son, his daughter, his triumph over evil. The Most High is on your side. The Mashiach is on your side. The light of the lamp is on your side all the way and every day. So lift your head up. Put a smile on your face, right? The Most High of creation rejoicing over you. Please rejoicing over the ones who are walking in spirit and in truth, who are walking in righteousness, who are walking in fear, walking in wisdom. Because those are the ones that he literally sees have his light. Those are the ones who have his light. Those are the only ones. Those are the only ones that he's rejoicing over. Like you read Esther chapter 9, 2nd Esther chapter 9, he does talk about that literally it was labor prepping for the ones who were chosen. This world was made for us in order for us to get the victory, in order for him to rejoice in us and for us to rejoice in him. And that there is a multitude of those who will perish. But he said, let them perish, because I've already labored over the few. So he's like, I'm rejoicing. It's not about, and he even tells Esther, why are you so worried about what happens to the sinners? You should be worried about what happens for the righteous. Because that's where our hope is. That's where our hope lies in, on what's waiting for us if we truly rejoice in the light of the lamp and walk in the light of the lamp. Let's see here. So now we go to John chapter 5. Verse 19. It says, so the Messiah said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing on his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, the Son does likewise. For the Father loves the Son and shows him all that he himself is doing. And greater works than these will he show him, so that you may marvel, so we may rejoice. For as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so also the Son, who is the light of the lamp, gives life to whom he will. For the Father judges no one, but has given all judgment to the Son, that all may honor the Son, just as they honor the Father. Whoever does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life. Whoever hears the word, the light of the lamp, whoever able to rejoice in the light of the lamp and believes him and has faith in this and truly establish himself in these principles and these statutes and these precepts, will have eternal life. He does not come into judgment, but has passed from death to life. Truly, truly, I say to you, verse 25, an hour is coming and now is now here when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of the Most High, and those who hear will live. Those who hear will live. Same thing. When the Son started talking to Enoch, his flesh was dissolved. He was still there, but he was already presented as righteous and was a scribe of righteousness. Verse 26, we live in him. So for verse 26, for as the Father has life in himself, so he has granted the Son also to have life in himself. And he has given him authority to execute judgment because he is the Son of Man. Do not marvel at this. For an hour is coming when all who are in the tombs will hear his voice and come out, and those who have done good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done evil to the resurrection of judgment. Starting to hit a little bit more, huh? Verse 30, it says, I can do nothing on my own. This Messiah is talking. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of him who sent me. If I alone bear witness about myself, my testimony is not true. There's another who bears witness about me, and I know that the testimony that he bears about me is true. You sent to John, and he has borne witness to the truth. Not that the testimony that I receive is from man, but I say these things so that you may be saved. He was a burning and a shining lamp, and you were willing to rejoice for a while in his light. You guys hearing this? Talking about John. John the Baptist was a burning and shining lamp. Another person who was in his ordained path he literally set a path. He set a pathway for those, so that way when the Messiah came, they were already in line to be baptized in the Ruach. And you were willing to rejoice for a while in his light. Verse 36, but the testimony that I have is greater than that of John. For the works that the Father has given me to accomplish, the very works that I am doing, bear witness about me that the Father has sent me. And the Father who sent me has himself borne witness about me. His voice you have never heard, his form you have never seen, and you do not have his word abiding in you, for you do not believe the one whom he has sent. It's the same verbiage as you read in 2nd Baruch in that chapter, I think it was 18, right? He says, you do not have the word abiding in you. Same thing as saying, you do not have the rejoicing of the light of the lamp in you. For if you did, you would believe the one whom he has sent. I mean, you would be rejoicing in the light of the lamp. Verse 39, you search the scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life, and it is that you bear witness. It is they that bear witness about me, yet you refuse to come to me that you may have life. You refuse. It's the same verbiage in here. It says, verse 18, chapter 18, 2nd Baruch, but those many whom he has lighted have taken from the darkness of Adam. And earlier in that scripture, it says, there are few that have imitated the ones who have taken from the light, who are lighting our path, like Enoch, Abraham, Noah, right? Moses, that says to choose life, walk in his ways, do this, do that, walk in him, walk in upright ways, seek him with all your heart, do these things. And he's saying, the Messiah himself is saying, you refuse to come to me. Emmanuel, who is with you, who's walking with you in the cool of the day, being your banner, you refuse to come to him so you can have life. Because if we were in him, truly, not only do we not sin, but we get to rejoice in him. He rejoices over us because we're walking in the fullness of his truth, in the light of the lamp. Not just searching the scriptures, thinking, how can I get more life, more eternal life? Or we should think that. How do I, but it's more like, I'm looking for righteousness. I'm looking for more righteousness. I'm looking for more fear. I'm looking for more wisdom. How do I add that to myself? So many people are looking, how do I keep the feast days? How do I do this? And that's okay. Because that's statutes, those are commandments. But then when they start keeping the Shabbat, oh, let me tell everybody I'm keeping the Shabbat. It becomes a show. Just like baptism. People do that more for a show, for people to verify that they are saved. That's not how that works. Oh, I'm keeping Shabbat. I don't buy or sell. I don't do this and that. Rules. And then you get to see when you read in scriptures the things that the Messiah was actually doing on the Shabbat. And how these Pharisees were coming at him so strongly because they're like, how are you doing that? You're saying that you're the Torah. You're the Father's son, yet you're breaking the law. What they didn't realize, because they didn't have true wisdom. They didn't have true understanding of how his word works, of how the word works, how love works, how fear works. The Messiah had more fear to help a man that needed help on a Shabbat that says, do no work, yet he is the work, yet he is the word, yet he is the reflection, he's the image, he is the lamp. And as an image and as the lamp itself and as a product of his Father would never just leave somebody to just be helpless. As you read in James, faith without works is dead. If you see someone hungry, if you see someone in need, and you just say, oh, Godspeed with you, how is that? How are your works going to be counted for righteousness? Where is the love in that? Right? We get it. We so many people forget mercy. They forget so much of these characteristics that we're literally seeing that only truly the wise will have, because they're trying to be upright in all their paths, and they are in fear, fear, reverential fear, living to the Most High, being obedient to His commandments, but following it with love and true care and discipline for His instructions in every aspect of their life, and truly walking in Him in every thought, because they don't want their own ways, they want His ways. That's going to translate into you, in which people who will see what you're doing in your life will give glory to the Father, praise to the Father, in which He rejoices. The angels rejoice over you too. Therefore, we will make our election sure by allowing us to hope even stronger that we'll be judged as righteous and receive the things that are laid up for the righteous. I mean, how else do you certify your salvation? Like, how else do you know that you're going to hopefully be judged as righteous? How else? The Shabbat doesn't save you. The feast days doesn't save you. This is a salvation issue compared to follow these rules issue. Because at the end of the day, anybody could pass away so fast, any time, and it's done. But we have time right now to actually obtain this in this type of way that actually requires us to do so in order for us to actually see Him and actually for Him to give us this crown. This is what is required in order for us to rejoice in the light of the lamp, to take part in the imitation of the light of the lamp. John 8:12. Messiah says to them, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. See how this is hidden? Sorry. Sorry. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 6. For the Most High, who said, let light shine out of darkness, has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Father in the face of the Messiah. So for the Father who said, let light shine out of darkness, has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge, of the wisdom, of the understanding, of the glory of the Father, whom is in the face of the Messiah, in the face of the lamp, who is the light of the lamp. So you think about the lamp, you think about the Father being the lamp, and the light is the Messiah inside the lamp. Ephesians 5:8. For at one time you were walking in darkness, and you were darkness, but now you are light in the Messiah. Walk as children of light. In order for us to walk as children of light, we must rejoice in the light of the lamp. There's only a few that do that, in which we saw the path of righteousness has been laid out as clear as day. Hear that? Day, clear as day. First Peter 2:9. But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness and into his marvelous light. So, cool enough, the next study after this one is royal priesthood. I'm not sure if I'm going to actually get that one done that fast. I think I should be able to. It's not that difficult. It's packed, but it's not like super packed. But it's awesome. But this is super, very, very, very important. Daniel 12:3. And those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the sky above, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. Turning people to righteousness, because what? This is all about righteousness, all about fear, all about wisdom, everything that comes within these three foundations. How you truly walk in the light of the Lamb. There's nothing more important than this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Don't let anybody tell you there's anything more important than this, because it all derives from this. And I keep saying feast days and things like that, even the luminaries, like people get so heavy into that stuff, and they don't even, either they forget or they don't even know how to establish anything else outside of like these are the foundations for all of those different things. You're talking about appointed times, y'all, like Shabbat, appointed times, like Emmanuel being with you, dwelling with you in these appointed times. He's already dwelling with you, making his abode in you, in your temple, right? His spirit. But he's talking about when I'm walking with you in the garden of righteousness that you're in, because you're pursuing the path of righteousness, because you're in the narrow way. In my appointed times, I'm going to be with you. Face to face, as I was face to face with Moses, whom I said is a friend of me. That no one was like Moses, who's seen the Most High face to face, seen the Messiah that we already talked about, the angel of presence. He knew the Messiah already. He was subject to the Messiah, subject to the Son of the Most High. The Son of the Most High gave him jubilees, wrote for him jubilees. He wrote with his finger on the tablets of stone that were inside of the Ark of the Covenant. That was covered on the seat of judgment. That was covered. The top was what was called like the witness seat, or the seat of judgment. All was literally reflective of the Messiah himself, that Moses knew, that was subject to it. He said, choose today, to Israelites, life or death. So yes, those feast days and those things are important, but you have to know the foundations of literally why we even are even there. And so that way you carry that with you in your heart, carry that with you in your soul, your spirit, to be able to be there and be in his presence as he's in your presence. Super important, man. That stuff, like, people, there's so many people, following Shabbat or feast days. It's like, that stuff is like the works. The works, he doesn't want unfruitful works. Just because it's a work doesn't mean it's fruitful. He wants fruitful works, pruned works that are attached to him. Doing something consistently doesn't mean anything. Doing something year by year, following a calendar, whether it's wrong or it's right, doesn't mean anything if it's not in the right, everything that we're talking about. Fear, wisdom, righteousness. Because if it is, then you actually will see, oh, Jubilee 6 makes so much more sense now. Why there's error. But let's continue. All right, so this is the last part. So we're going to read some connections here that definitely please go read on your own. Mark it if you can't read it today. But it's all, literally, all exhortation, connections. And this should go by very quickly because I'm just literally reading. Add a little commentary. Yep. So just follow along with me here. And I'm probably gonna skip. Let's see here. All right. So we got Enoch 14, y'all. It says, let's see here. So it could be, oh, wow. I'm on the wrong chapter. I was wondering, I'm like, it's not even, I'm over here in Jubilees, chapter 14. Getting old, y'all, getting old. All right. So this is the scroll of the washer, the words of the righteousness, and of the reprobate of the perpetual washers of those fallen angels. Okay. So I'm going to read just a little bit. It says, I saw in my sleep what I will now say with the tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, with the great one, which the great one has given to men to converse with and understand with the heart. Understand with the heart the words of righteousness. As he has created and given to man the power of understanding the words of wisdom, so he also has created me and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. Okay, so he talks about reprimanding the watchers and things of that nature, because the watchers sent Enoch to go make amends with the Most High. Okay. And so Most High sent Enoch back with a word and shut them down immediately. So this is the cool thing here. It says, verse 9, and I went in until I drew near a wall, which was built of crystals and surrounding by tongues of fire, and it began to frighten me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew near to a large house, which was built of crystals, and the walls of the house were like a tessellated floor made of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of the stars, and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim, and their heaven was as clear as water. You can't even imagine this stuff. It's crazy. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. And I entered into the house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. Therefore no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling took hold of me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell on my face, and I beheld a vision. So when you fall on your face, that's true worship. I beheld a vision. And behold, there was a second house greater than the former, and the entire portal stood open before me, and it was built a flame of fires. And in every respect, it so excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I can't describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floor was of fire, and above it were lightnings and the paths of the stars. And its ceiling was also flaming fire. And I looked, and I saw a lofty throne therein, and its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as a shining sun. And there was the vision of cherubim. And from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. He can't even, bro. And the great glory sat thereon, and his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. You see how bright everything is? The light of the lamp. Do you see how bright everything is? His clothes, his raiment shone bright, more brightly than the sun. We can't even look at the sun in our flesh right now. Can't stare at it like that. And was whiter than any snow. Snow is white, y'all. Whiter than snow? None of the messengers could enter and behold his face by reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was around him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw near him. Myriads and myriads stood before him, yet he needed no counselor. And the most holy ones who were near to him did not leave by night nor depart from him. And until then I had been prostrate on my face, trembling, and the Most High called me with his own mouth, and said to me, "Come here, Enoch, and hear my word." And one of the holy ones came to me and waked me, and he made me rise up and approach the door, and I bowed my face downwards. So the beautiful thing about this, like I said, no one could truly approach him, go near to him. And it was only the holiest, like the angels, the four main angels that go in and out. Gabriel, Michael, I think it was Raphael, y'all. It was Raphael. I forgot the actual chapter for that. And it wasn't Uriel, but it was Phinehas. I believe it's Phinehas. But it's four great ones, who is what it's talking about here. The ones that could do that. So the beautiful thing is, after the 1,000-year reign, and everything is fully certified after that 1,000-year reign, right? That New Jerusalem is put down, and then it comes from the heavens, and then it's on earth, and now the Father, which you see, like this greatness, his glory will be inside of that city. Inside of that city, New Jerusalem. And it says that there will be no need for a sun, for the sun, the shining sun, because the light thereof is his light. Him, the Father, and the Son, the Lamb, as it says in Revelation, chapter, I think it was chapter 21, 22, 23. So, therefore, those who are allowed to go into New Jerusalem, whose names are on the walls, right, whose names are in the book of life, book of light of the lamp, will be able to be in his presence. Will be able to rejoice in the light of the lamp and be with the Father and the Son, along with all the other people who are in righteousness. Now you notice the people that Enoch saw that we talked about in the first study, when he saw the dwellings of the righteous, you know that their dwelling, as beautiful as it is, will then eventually go into New Jerusalem. Because they're not just going to sit where they are, even though that's beautiful and beyond our imagination. When everything culminates to its final form for eternity, we all move, those who are righteous, in that spot and go in and out. It's just, but only the righteous. Like, you can't get there any other way, because if you don't get there, then you're in a total different place that is so opposite to everything that we read. that it's and in fact that they will be able to, those who are in torture, those who are in condemnation will be able to see all that going on, and there's nothing that they can do. It's wraps, like it's literally is done, and they're in eternal torments forever, along with the watchers, who already saw so much of it. They didn't want to wait and stay in the path of righteousness either. You notice that? It says in Enoch, they were taught the vain things that they taught other men. And so they didn't even know, a lot of the other angels who weren't even high-ranking angels didn't even see nothing that even probably Matsima actually got to see. Not every angel was allowed to just see every single little thing. Everybody had their jobs and duties. So they weren't even willing to wait. They weren't even... It's crazy, man. Like, angels, those angels. All right. Enoch 108. It says, another scroll which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah and for those who will come after him and keep the Torah in the last days. You who have done good will wait for those days until an end is made for those who work evil and an end of the might of the transgressors. And indeed, wait until sin has passed away, for their names will be blotted out of the scroll of life and out of the holy scrolls, and their seed will be destroyed forever, and their spirits will be slain, and they will cry and make lamentation in a place that is chaotic wilderness. We were just talking about that. And they will burn in the fire, for there is no earth there. And I saw something like an invisible cloud there, for by reason of its depth I cannot look over. And I saw a flame of fire, blazing brightly, and things like shining mountains circling, sweeping to and fro. And I asked one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to him, what is this shining thing? For it is not a heaven, but only the flame of a blazing fire, and a voice of weeping and crying, a lamentation and a strong pain. And he said to me, this place which you see here are cast the spirits of sinners and blasphemers and of those who work wickedness, and those who pervert everything that the Most High has given and has spoken through the mouth of the prophets, even the things that will be. For some of them are written and inscribed above in heaven, in order that the messengers may read them and know that which will befall the sinners. And the spirits of the humble, and of those who have afflicted their bodies and have been repaid by the Most High, and of those who have been put to shame by wicked men, those who love the Father and Messiah and the light of the lamp, and love neither gold nor silver, nor any of the good things which are in the world, but gave their bodies over to torture, who since they came into being did not long after earthly food, but regarded everything as a passing breath, and lived accordingly. And the Most High tried them very much, and their spirits were found pure, so that they should bless his name. And I have recounted all the blessings destined for them in the scrolls, and he has assigned them their reward, because they have been found to be such as loved heaven more than their life in the world. And though they were trodden underfoot of wicked men and experienced abuse and reveling from them, and were put to shame, yet they blessed me. Yet they rejoiced in the light of the lamp. And now I will summon the spirits of the good who belong to the generation of light. The generation of light. And I will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not repaid with such honor as their faithfulness deserved. And I will bring out those who have loved my holy name in shining light. And I will seat each on the throne of his honor. And they will be resplendent for infinite ages. For righteousness is the judgment of the Father, judgment of the Son. And he will give faithfulness to the faithful and the habitation of upright paths. And they will see those who were born in darkness led into darkness, while the righteous will be resplendent, will be full of light. And the sinners will cry aloud and see them full of light, and they will indeed go where days and seasons are prescribed for them. Generation of light. What do you think we're talking about right now? The light of the lamp. Generation of light. Like, so if few, according to Baruch, few have been imitators of this light of the lamp, that's why it's only a remnant that will be able to make it, because there are not, though people have some of the light from these books and from our knowledge and understanding, not true imitators of the light of the lamp. Only a few, a remnant, a small amount, that all these people will truly grasp walking in the light of the lamp, being imitators of truly walking in the path of righteousness. It's just really what it is. It's a plain truth of what it's actually saying. Let's go to Psalm 32, 8 through 11. We're almost done here. It says here, I will instruct you and teach you in the way which you shall go. I will guide you with my eye. Be you not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto you. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked, but he that trusts in the Most High, mercy shall compass him about. Mercy. So he knows we're trying to grow in that regard for those who are truly trying to walk in righteousness, in the right heart and in the right spirit and in truth, with fear. Mercy will be around us, because with mercy, if we didn't have mercy, we wouldn't be able to do anything. So with mercy, we're able to do a study like this. We're able to learn and go seek more scripture, more understanding, and apply it, right? With mercy. Verse 11, be glad, rejoice. Be glad in the Most High, be glad in the Messiah, in the light of the lamp, and rejoice, you righteous, and shout for joy. Run around in a circle, right? In fear and trembling, all ye that are upright in heart. Come on, man. Sirach 18. So it completely connects to Sirach 18. 8 through 14. It says, what is man, and whose serve he? What is his good, and what is his evil? The number of their days seem great if it reaches 100 years. Like a drop of water from the sea and a grain of sand, so are these few years among the days of eternity. That is why the Most High is patient with them and pours out his mercy on them. He sees and understands that their death is wretched, so he forgives them all the more. Their compassion is for their neighbor, but the Most High's compassion reaches all flesh, reproving, admonishing, teaching, and turning them back as a shepherd his flock. He has compassion on those who accept his discipline, who are eager for his precepts. Bro, do you guys see what's going on? This is real. This is legit in the scriptures. This is written. Compassion on those who accept his discipline. We're eager for his precepts. Wisdom chapter 6. Make sure you read that. We're actually about to hit Wisdom chapter 3. who is eager for his discipline. And it says, in chapter 6 of wisdom, it says the first step towards wisdom is an earnest desire for discipline. So if you have an earnest desire for discipline, guess what you get? You get mercy. You get mercy to keep going and keep leveling up, so that way his discipline will keep disciplining you to truly walk in the path of uprightness and righteousness. You can actually truly walk in the right ways. Then it says, then care for discipline is the love of her, which we read earlier, that fear comes from also discipline and loving. And through that love, which you're giving and your ahava, means you're keeping his instructions. And so observing those instructions is the basis for incorruptibility. So let's just say with the feast days, you notice that observing is after discipline. It's after you establish a desire for discipline. It's after you establish a care for discipline. After you establish fear. After you establish wisdom. It's not just going straight to Shabbat, keeping feast days. It's not just going straight to that, because you need this in order to have a meeting with the Most High. You need that in order to have a meeting with the Messiah. It's a meeting moment. It's a meeting time. It's a set appointed time between you and him. Why would you come with none of these fruits? You know what I'm saying? Why would we do that? Does that say not to engage? But of course not. But at the same time, wouldn't you have more fear and trembling if you were trying to work it out truly in the right ways, to have these things in order to actually say, okay, I'm going to engage? There's nothing wrong with you learning about these feast days, but when you actually engage into it the way that those other people did in the paths of righteousness, and when they did these things, it was different. You go read in Ezra. I think it's maybe First Ezra or Ezra, but you remember when Nehemiah and Ezra, they were bringing the law to them with the Levites. They were bringing the law, and they found the law, and they were reading on the certain feast day. I think it was Passover, or maybe no, it was probably a Feast of Trumpets. But they were reading, and everybody was wailing. They were crying hard, just hearing the word, and it was just so different. It wasn't just let's because they reestablished like their temple and their gates and stuff like that. And they were truly desiring to hear, truly desiring for the truth. And they were wailing, they were crying so hard. And the Levites were like, please stop crying, it's supposed to be joy. But that's where the rejoicing came in from. They couldn't help themselves. Their spirit was just overwhelming in a good way. Wisdom chapter 3. 1 through 9. It says, the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Messiah, and no torment shall touch them. They seemed in the view of the foolish to be dead, and their passing away was thought and affliction. And their going forth from us utter destruction, but they are in peace. If you go read 4th Maccabees, this also connects with there. For if to others indeed they seem punished, yet is their hope full of immortality. So you notice it's saying that you won't be tormented. No torment shall touch them. It doesn't necessarily mean no torment shall touch you in this life while we have this flesh on, before we're deemed as worthy to receive our heavenly bodies, or just be judged as righteous and dwell with the righteous until that time comes. So when you read 4th Maccabees, you do see the people that are talked about especially the Elijah and the boys, the sons, are tortured. But you read that they had so much hope and they had so much word in them that they didn't care about that torture. And it was graphic torture. So when you go read in Enoch chapter 108 that we just read, when it says, the spirits of the humble and those who have afflicted their bodies have been repaid by the Messiah, by the Most High. And those who have been put to shame by wicked men who love the Most High and love neither gold and silver and gave their bodies up over to torture, right? They have blessings that's destined for them, for us. So that torture is talking about that won't touch us is the torture from hell, right? From what the unrighteous receive. That torture won't touch us. So verse 3, it says, and they're going forth from us, utter destruction, they are in peace. For if to others indeed they seem punished, yet it is their hope full of immortality. Chastise a little, they shall be greatly blessed, because the Most High tried them and found them worthy of himself. You guys, found them worthy of himself, found them worthy of the light of the Lamb. Found them worthy. He has to find you worthy of himself. Not just some random light. He wants you in his fullness, imitator of the path of righteousness that's been laid out for us. He wants that one. He's coming for those who are worthy of himself. Worthy to be on his vine. Worthy for the vine dresser to have that branch on his vine. And it says, as gold in the furnace he proved them, and as sacrificial offerings he took them to himself. In the time of their judgment they shall shine and dart about as sparks through stubble. And they shall judge nations and rule over peoples, and the Most High shall be their king forever. And those who trust in him shall understand truth, and the faithful shall abide with him in love, because grace and mercy are with his holy ones, and his care is with the elect. But the wicked shall receive a punishment to match their thoughts, and since they neglected righteousness and forsook the Most High. Notice this. You can literally have some of the light of the lamp, trying to be following his commandments, but not have any good thoughts. So you read 2 Ezra chapter 14. He tells Ezra to tell the people to reprove their thoughts that are burdens to them, get rid of their weak nature, right? Cleanse their home. So the wicked are connected with thoughts that are not his. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. And it says they neglected righteousness. Just because you know how to do something right and you do it doesn't mean that you truly are basking in righteousness, because righteousness comes with fear. It comes with the wisdom. It comes with the right heart. It comes with these characteristics. It's not without it. So verse 11, it says, for those who despise wisdom and instruction are doomed. Vain is their hope. Fruitless their labors, and worthless their works. Those who despise wisdom and instruction are doomed. Vain is their hope, fruitless their labors, and worthless their works. It's the same verbiage that we read earlier, that there are few imitators of those who walk in the light of the Lamb. Though the light has been given to them, and they may say they have it or they take of it, there's only a few imitators because they haven't rejoiced in the light of the Lamb, which we have. That's what we've been talking about earlier. It says, verse 12, their wives are foolish and their children wicked, accursed their brood. So that was wisdom. So we'll read a little bit. We got those last 4 down there. We'll read a little bit of those, and then we should be donezo. And I'll just kind of probably just give little summaries of each chapter. So 38 is very quick. It's a parable. It says, the congregation of the righteous will appear, and the sinners will be judged for their sins and will be driven from the face of the earth, when the righteous one will appear before the eyes of the righteous, whose chosen works hang on him, and light will appear to the righteous and the chosen ones who dwell on the earth, where then will be the dwelling of the sinners, where the resting place of those who have denied, where is the resting place of those who have denied the Most High. It had been good for them if they had not been born. When the secrets of the righteous will be revealed, and the sinners judged, and the godless driven from the presence of the righteous and chosen ones, from that time those that possess the earth will no longer be powerful and exalted, and they will not be able to behold the face of the holy, for the Most High has caused his light, his Messiah, his Son, to appear on the face of the holy, righteous, and chosen ones. Literally. So at that time, his light will be on us, truly illuminating from us, just as Moses, when he was in his presence and he went into the people, he had to put a veil over his face because the light of streaming through his face was so bright that he had to put a veil over it, and nobody could truly look on him. He spent that much time, and he was in that much perfection in his walk, going the narrow way. And it says here that his light is going to appear through our face, and these people who are powerful right now in sin they're going to see that on his chosen ones. And they're going to be afraid and tremble. And from then on, no one will seek for themselves mercy for the Most High, for their life is at an end. So there's no mercy at the time. And chapter 7 of 2nd Esdras, you also will see that there's the day of judgment. There's no mercy. There's nothing you can do. At that time when the Messiah comes, it's over. Full amount of grace is gone. So that's amazing. For those who truly walk in the light of the Lamb. So chapter 48, it talks about the fountain of righteousness that Enoch sees. All right. And he says that there's many fountains of wisdom around it. He talks about, I'm paraphrasing as I'm reading, the thirsty, they drank of this wisdom and this water, and they were filled with it. The dwellings were with the righteous and the holy and the chosen ones. And it just talks about wisdom, righteousness, and it talks about how the unrighteous hated all the works of the Messiah. All right. And how he's going to give over the unrighteous to the righteous, to the chosen ones. All right. Verse 49, it says that wisdom is poured out like water, and he's mighty. The Messiah is mighty in all the secrets of righteousness, and unrighteousness will disappear eventually. And he's literally, in him dwells the spirit of wisdom, dwells the spirit of insight, spirit of understanding, of power, and the spirit of those who have fallen asleep in righteousness. This is the Messiah. So I listed chapter 51 of Enoch. Definitely go read that. 58, very interesting. Still about righteous. Still, it says verse 4, for the righteous and chosen ones. Or verse 2, it says, blessed are you, you righteous and chosen ones, for your lot will be glorious, and the righteous will be in the light of the sun. and the chosen ones in the light of continuous life. And their days of their life will be unending, and the days of the holy without number. And they will seek the light and find righteousness. With the Messiah, there will be peace to the righteous in the name of the perpetual Messiah. Like, it says that they should seek out the secrets of righteousness, which we are. That's what we were talking about. And their heritage of faith, for it has become bright as the sun on earth. What do you think you look like in the spirit realm when we really put this stuff on? And they will be a light that never ends, and they will not come to a limit of days, for the darkness will have first been destroyed, and the light of uprightness established forever. Telling you y'all, it's some beautiful, beautiful things. Go read Enoch chapter 6. You're going to read Enoch chapter 104. Enoch. 104. You're going to read Enoch chapter 5. Okay. Then you got here, we got 2nd Esdras chapter 8. And I put 46 through 62. So I would definitely read that one. Yeah. So he talks about, he's correcting Esdras and giving him the full understanding of everything he's talking about. Verse 52, he also tells us how Esdras actually made it, why Esdras was also taken up. He says, verse 48, in this you will be admirable to the Most High, and that you have humbled yourself, as it is appropriate for you, have not judged yourself worthy to be among the righteous. So that's because he is working out his faith with fear and trembling, so as to be much glorified. For many grievous miseries will fall on those who in the last times dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. How many people are walking in great pride, even though they have some of the light as a lamp? How many? We're going to read that in the parable of the 10 virgins. Verse 51, but understand for yourself, as such as like you, seek out the glory for such as are like you. So as such as who are like Esdras, seek out the glory. For people like Esdras, it says, verse 52, paradise is open to them, the tree of life planted. The time come is prepared. And it says in 53 that the root of evil is sealed up from him. Weakness is done away from him, and death is hidden. This is what he was granted because he made it. Hades and corruption, they fled from him. Sorrows passed from him, and immortality was his being. So please read more of that. That's very, very powerful, because you literally get to see, and he's showing us those who are really there. Goodness perfected, wisdom being perfect, as it says in the scripture. So please read that. I'm going to read Micah. Micah 4. So Micah 4, 1 through 5. So that's a good one. I don't have to really read that one right here. But it does say in chapter 2 that it says, come, let us go up to the mountain of the Most High, to the temple of the Elohim of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, so that we will walk in his paths. Okay. The law will go out from Zion, and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem. So that's a good one to read. And then, like I was saying about the 10 virgins, Matthew 25. that. So it says, at that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 of them were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. They were in pride. The oil represents also the Spirit. It represents their fruits. So they thought their lamps were complete and they didn't take any oil. They thought they had enough. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps, y'all. So not only were they rejoicing in the light of the lamp, being imitators of the path of right, of those who were in the path of righteousness, including obviously the Son of the Most High, they were so wise that they understood they need to have oil, more oil with them. Why do you think Elisha, after being with his teacher Elijah gets taken up? Prophet Elijah gets taken up because he's done. He made it fully. And the Most High asks Elisha, what do you want? And Elisha asks for what? I want double the spirit that you put on Elijah. I want double that spirit. Double. He wasn't playing games. He wasn't playing games. He wanted double. Come on. Solomon asked for wisdom as a king. And the Most High asks you what you want right now. You know how many people would sit there and say, well, I just want to make sure we have money. You know, want to make sure, you know, this and that. Like, bro. That's where their heart was. So, going back to this parable, the foolish ones took their lamps, but they didn't take any oil with them. Not even one jar, not even half a jar. No oil. The wise ones took oil in jars along with their lamps. Jars with the S. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. So all of them were falling asleep. At midnight, the cry rang out, here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him. Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish one said to the wise, give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out. Why would their oil be going out? Because they don't have enough fear. They don't have enough wisdom. They don't have enough righteousness. Because they never truly was pursuing it. They said, oh, this is enough. For all these commandments, I follow these feast days, I follow these Shabbats. I do it verbatim every day for people to see, and people for me to be doing it. Notice in 2nd Baruch, it says that there are few who are imitating the light of the lamp. Few imitating the actual instructions that are actually given to us to actually live out. A few. These virgins that were considered foolish only had a few, didn't have any more oil. Their lamps were literally going out as the bridegroom got here. Verse 9, it says, no, they replied, the wise. There would not be enough for both of us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some yourselves. Buy some yourselves. So you still got to do the work. They still had to go, the foolish ones still had to go do the work and try to hurry up and go buy the oil. And they thought they had enough time. As it said in verse 10, but while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet. The virgins who were ready, the pure ones, the wise ones who were ready, the ones who were fear, who understood this, who were rejoicing in the light of the lamp, were ready when it was time for them to go. Whether that was when your life ends, Whether today, tomorrow, next week, in a month, year, it doesn't matter. You don't know. Or if you make it to when the Messiah returns. These wise ones were ready. And they went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Verse 11, later the others also came and said, Messiah, Messiah. They said, open the door for us. But he replied, truly, I tell you, I don't know you. He doesn't know those who don't look like him, who are not imitators of him. He doesn't know those who do not look like him. Period. There's literally nothing anybody could say against this, because it's all facts, because we just literally talked about it and proved it in scripture, and it says it verbatim. There's a remnant, that's why there's literally a few that he's going to get that will look like him, and we want to be the few. So we don't hear him sit there and say, I don't know you. By knowing him, we know we'll be in the path of righteousness and walking with the light of the lamp. If you truly know him. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour. Excuse me. And notice this, you guys. Notice this. In the same Matthew chapter 7, 21 to 23, it says, not everyone who says to me, Master, Master, Messiah, Messiah, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. The one who rejoices in the light of the lamp and does the will of my Father who is in heaven is the one who will enter the kingdom of heaven. Because we literally proved it. That is the only way. This path of righteousness, the way that we just broke it down today in these two parts, that we can truly receive the kingdom. And you notice in verse 22, it says, on that day, many will say to me, Master, Master, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name? Did we not do mighty works in your name? And I would declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. You workers of wickedness. You workers of that your works were in vain. That your works were useless without fear. Useless without wisdom. Useless without righteousness. It was useless without the mercy. It was useless. I never knew you. He only knows the ones who are truly going to walk in spirit and in truth, which is truly those who can rejoice in the light of the lamp. Because if he would have knew Adam and Eve after they would have ate of the fruit of the tree of wisdom, they wouldn't have been kicked out. Well, he kicked them out because he didn't know them anymore, and they were not his anymore. They had the Messiah, Emmanuel, walking with them this whole time. So if they would have knew him, they would have just ate of the Messiah. They would have already had their fill. They would have already been, they would have been obedient, but not just being obedient because you're in a garden of righteousness doesn't mean that you're obedient. Just because you know to follow the commandments doesn't mean that that's true obedience. True obedience comes with these things: wisdom, power, counsel, understanding, righteousness, your heart being right, not in double heart, the way you speak, the way you feel, the way you think. These things come with it so we can literally mirror him, so he can actually say, I know you. Why do you think also when those people were in Acts, I believe, when they were trying to cast out demons, and they were trying to do it in the name of Paul, the demons was like, I know who the Messiah is. I know who Paul is, but who are you? And they whipped them. So they know who Paul was because Paul, regardless of anybody has to say about Paul, still mirrored the Messiah. To the point where people could touch his garments and they were healed. Come on. So we're supposed to be walking in the same power that we're not yet walking in, that we will hopefully, that's because I truly believe that's what the Messiah has been giving me. The Ruach has been giving me, not just me, and I'm trying to make it all about me, but the studies, at least who have been following the studies, is leading up into us using these weapons in power, bro. Using these weapons in power, in the right power. That's who he wants. Because it's a different time right now. He's coming for those. This is the do y'all realize this is a whole different time than it has ever been before. So it's not just the same cookie cutter type walk of just doing stuff in the same way other people have done it for years. We're talking about our Messiah returning and literally like him being king on earth. Like there's so much coming. Exactly, sister. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? We're supposed to have it, and that's what this mercy is for. Because those who are really going to walk in this way that we've been talking about today, they're the only ones that's going to have it. I guarantee you, because the scriptures say it. The scriptures say it verbatim. You cannot look like Paul. You cannot be talked about like Noah, walk perfect, and be told be said that you are righteous. Be like Enoch, Ezekiel, these prophets. Like you can't receive what he has for us if we don't walk in the light of the Lamb, because everybody else who actually understood it and made it, even if they didn't understand a lot that we understand now, their hearts was there. Their spirit was there. You know what I'm saying? They were there. They still got there. So us, this generation of righteousness, generation of wisdom, we're the most diverse generation ever because it's prophesied about. Because we're able to talk like this and learn like this and really search it out like this. But even those who are searching out certain things, they turn it and they flip it and they get rid of the mercy. They get rid of the righteousness. They get rid of the fear. They get rid of the wisdom, the true wisdom, not the vain wisdom that the fallen angels were teaching through the mysteries and stuff like that. It's all cool to learn prophecy and stuff like that, but like, what are you gaining from it? Make sure it's actually leading up to you gaining wisdom and instruction and understanding for you to actually walk in more perfection. Not for you to just have something to hear and it don't even dwell in your soul, in your spirit, in your heart, and not be in the good soil of your heart, and you couldn't even use it. You know? So for those who are new, this is what it's about. Those who are already walking, this is what it's about. Rejoicing in the light of the lamp so we can actually be imitators. We can actually be on point. We can actually, the Messiah for us to hear him say that he knows us and our spirit will confirm in us. Because why would it sit there and say in Hebrews 6, why would it say this? Notice this. This last thing I'll probably say. It says, for it is impossible, verse 4, chapter 6 of Hebrews, in the case of those who have once been enlightened, who have tasted the heavenly gift and have shared in the Holy Spirit, who have tasted the goodness of the word of the Most High and the powers of the age to come, and then have fallen away, to restore them again to repentance, since they are crucifying once again the Son of the Most High to their own harm and holding him up to contempt. So imagine if Ezekiel fell away. Imagine if Isaiah fell away. Imagine if Moses fell away. Yeah, he sinned. That one portion he wasn't able to go into the land of milk and honey. But the land of the milk and honey isn't the all in. It was never the all in. It was just a reflection of what is to come. In First Baruch, he'll tell you that they still neglected wisdom. If they would have kept wisdom when they were in the land of milk and honey, when they finally got there, they would have never been rooted out. But what did they do? They forsook the lamp of the light of the lamp. Yes, and same thing like Saul. Same exact thing. But it's different because in these times, what you have is a portion of deception, because even if you think, a lot of people will sit here, let's just say of this community, right? You have so many people who are wise, who are sharing different things and, essentially being speakers and spokesmen and, leading people, right? But I want you guys to really pay attention. Really, with our foundations and understanding, legit wisdom, righteousness, uprightness, fear, literally ask yourself, does this promote me getting there? Does it really help boost me? Or if someone else was looking at this, what does this do? Does this add to my fruits? Does it make me more fruitful? Or is it tearing me down? Is it keeping me from the mercy that he's giving me to grow? You know what I'm saying? Ask these questions. Really ask yourself these questions. Right? And so that way you can see more literally what's going on, because not everybody has true wisdom dwelling in them. It's not about me at all. But I can say for myself, what the Most High is allowing me to do more than ever before. But it's still tough. You still got to fight. You still got to fight through it. You still got to push through it. You still got to learn. You still get disciplined. It doesn't matter. Even if I'm speaking all this stuff. Right after this study, I could literally go through something right there and test me and be like literally, are you a doer of the word, or are you just a hearer, or are you just a speaker? Immediately. With my family, anything, you know what I'm saying? So still, we all got work to do. But this is the path. This is the only path. And everything that comes with it is obviously whatever is in your ordained path, whatever your job, the people that you deal with, your life, that is all within it. So, and you have a reward waiting for you. So that is it, y'all. That is it. That was the Light of the Lamp study. That was the Light of the Lamp study. I hope that was a blessing to y'all, as it was a blessing to me. I've been holding on to this for several weeks. I'm so thankful to be able to finally speak it, because it actually, some more things had come out of it than I had expected. I didn't even expect the majority of this stuff. But I take my notes and I follow the Ruach, follow the Spirit, and he gives me utterance. So I got work to do. We all got work to do, but just really, it's a whole different time right now. There's no joke. Let's literally walk in the light of the lamp and truly be the few. Be a part of the few. Be an imitator of those like Enoch Abraham, like literally the path of righteousness has already been set for us. We have to walk in it truly. Not for anybody else to see. It's not about anybody else seeing this. But those who will see it, yes, they will give glory to the Father in heaven by seeing your good works because of that light that you have in you. Not the little light. We want to have his fullness of his light. To the point where it does say the generation of light will no longer sin. We can do that. That is possible because it's already written for us. It's already written. Don't let anybody tell you. It's already written. So, appreciate you guys. Go ahead and pray out real quick. Dear Abba, we thank you so much just for this word. We ask that you just cover us and protect us as we understand this today. We know that enemy will try to attack us and get us off of our game, but we ask that you just cover us and strengthen us. And truly, we know that you are Emmanuel, that you're with us, that you walk with us, and to rejoice over us as we rejoice in you fully and wholeheartedly, and seek after your discipline, seek after your care, your love, your protection, your word, and we seek after the wisdom, instruction, all of it, Abba. We ask that you help our hearts, help our mind, clean us, clear us, the things out from us that is not of you, renewing us the right spirit that we need in order for you to one day, and for you to even confirm in our spirit that you know us, you know who we are, and that we know who you are, that we will never, according to your will, hear that you never knew us, that we don't fall into those judgments, that we don't fall into those that judgment that is for the unrighteous, for the wicked who do not love you. So we ask that we just continue to stay on that right and narrow path, though there's labor, though there's strife in this walk, that we just continue to seek you in all righteousness and all wisdom and all fear, and rejoice in the light of the lamp. And we just love you so much. We ask for your forgiveness within your mercy that you've applied to us, that we don't take so advantage of it to the point where we're so arrogant and so and not humble enough to understand that mercy is not always extended forever, that we just truly rejoice and be so thankful for your mercy while we are asking for your forgiveness for falling short, that we need more and more of you, and that we actually make a purposeful choice to continue to put more and more of you on us and in our ways and all our thoughts and all our feelings, and that you convict us in your Ruach and your Holy Spirit when we are not following in the right way, even before we may sin, that you give us those thoughts of correction, give us those thoughts of reproof, you give us those thoughts of changing our ways in how we go about things. Though it may be hard, that it may not be hard eventually as you discipline us, as we continue to be in discipline. And we give you all the praise, all the glory, all the honor, in the name of your Son, Messiah Yahshua, we pray. Amen. All right, y'all. I am done for the day. I don't know how long study session was, but it doesn't matter, because we about to be on fire. On fire, y'all. In a good way. In the spirit. So I appreciate y'all. I will make sure I try to upload these tonight. And y'all have an amazing rest of your day if you're in the daytime, and night if you're in the nighttime. All right. Oh, and I should probably end. Let me end on this one, guys. Some of you guys didn't hear this one.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it Let it shine. Let